Welcome back to your Networth's Network. I'm your host, Corey McNabb, and this is a networking style podcast. We bring up special guests, learn about them, about their lives, about their business, and really figure out how we can all work together. My goal in life is to rise to a place of excellence, and I want to bring you with me. Now, that being said, let's bring up our today's special guest, Mr. Andres Nobili. How you doing?
Hey everyone, good. How are you, Corey?
I'm doing good, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on the show. This is kind of the first time we're getting a chance to chat. So go ahead and introduce yourself to me and the audience.
Yeah, so again, my name's Andres. I am, 27 years old. Um, we met here through the Sub2 community on Facebook, and been doing real estate for only the last couple of years now. But prior to all that, I came out of high school, went straight to college. Uh, I went through the nursing track and graduated with my bachelor's degree. Been doing nursing now for 5 years, um, and kind of brought me all the way up here in Chicago, where I'm currently living right now.
Okay, so you're a nurse up in Chicago. How are things up there?
Pleasant. I'm originally from California, and Chicago and the seasons here that we get was certainly a big shocker for me. Now, being used to winters. Uh, but I got used to it. I got used to that Midwest vibe, and Chicago's a great city. You still got all the great amenities that I guess you can find on the West Coast with great food. You still got a beach because of the lake.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love it here. Very clean city. Can't complain.
Awesome. Okay, um, so you're still working as a nurse and
Yeah.
you're doing real estate. Um, what's your main focus within real estate?
Um, so if you're kind of asking like, what do I do in real estate?
Yeah,
I'm basically a buyer. I buy a property. I invest in the St. Louis market, um, breaking into the Ohio market, and I have done some things in Chicago. Um, yeah, I guess there's a whole story of how I got into it, but it wasn't a straight shot journey to where I am now. Definitely had a different approach in the beginning, but now I'm buying property. I've done about five flips, own two rentals, have a property, a portfolio of four properties right now that I will close, I think, next week, and a few more in the pipeline for sure that we're getting under contract.
okay, so you've got four properties now, or you have four that are closing.
I own two rentals now that are definitely under one of my LLCs. Four that I am going to be the new owner of with my partners soon in the next week or so. Yeah.
Gotcha. Well,
Yeah.
congratulations.
Thank you.
Um, so you said that you didn't start out buying, uh, but it sounds like something happened that you decided, you know what, I just want to buy. So kind of walk us through what you were doing and then what ultimately made you decide to switch over to buying properties.
Yeah. So I guess the original, when I first got into real estate, it had nothing to do with Pace Morby or people that we're familiar with, you and I. I was just listening to a podcast, and I was really going through a lot of introspective thoughts during my life, or in my life during COVID. But eventually, I didn't know I wanted to get into real estate somehow to reach my financial freedom goals. And I guess with only what I knew at the time, the best option that I could have had for myself with travel nursing, because I'm a travel nurse, is the house hack. Um, as a travel nurse, I can hop around from town to town and be able to. Maybe the idea was to buy a property like a duplex and live in one unit and rent out the other. And of course, I'm at Pace, and that went out the window because there was something better than house hacking that he taught. Now I'm, part of Step 2, and part of this great community, learning all these different ways to buy property. Um, but I kind of wanted to now start a little bit slower, because my idea was to maybe buy a property uh, once a year, maybe. That was kind of like the rate that I was thinking when I first started. But now with all these accessibility to a community and all these um, knowledge, I wanted to maybe start small, yet with some potential to scale. And originally started doing some wholesaling, and that happened right around Omicron, like end of COVID. And so getting into that very loom and gloom economic time right after COVID, where things were very uncertain with interest rates rising, and we weren't sure if we were going to head into a crash, and markets were fluctuating in price. And we already saw how the stock market was hit, but then, there was the 1 year type of after effect that happens to real estate. And that was kind of like around the phase when I was wholesaling. And I was wholesaling in Indiana, and there was a lot of hits and misses. We did get a few properties under contract. We were working directly with agents, and there was just one example where, like, I thought I was gonna make like a $10,000 assignment fee, and literally it took like a couple months to nurture the seller. And by the time we finally got it under contract and I already had a buyer lined up, somehow the comps, like, just because maybe the market conditions like went down in price, and now my assignment fee was basically wiped. I would have to basically give it to the buyer without any kind of assignment fee. So that was very discouraging. And I met my partner Ethan Pack at the time, who was also in Step 2, and we eventually knew that we wanted to be buyers. We weren't going to do wholesaling at all for the long run. So we just decided, like, hey, why are we working so hard to set up something that we are eventually going to let go of anyways? Let's just go straight into buying and figure out a strategy there and learn how to scale that instead. So kind of did a 360, because I did start out as a buyer, but this time with a different approach. I'm definitely buying way more properties I expected to buy in a year's time. And so far we're having some good success, some good momentum.
Awesome. That's amazing, dude. So I'm also a buyer. I kind of did the same thing. I started with the wholesale. I actually jumped on a wholesale team, started, getting my feet in the door of places, talking to agents, getting comfortable on the phone, that type of thing. But ultimately, my whole point in joining real estate or being in real estate is to buy properties. So made that pivot here about a month and a half ago. So I'm always interested to hear from other buyers, like, if you're all right with it, kind of break down your process. How do you get deals across your desk, and do you have any specific I guess exit strategies that you underwrite them for, that you want to focus on? Or I guess, how does it work for you when a deal comes across your desk?
Yeah, so I work with agents still. I took the approach of finding a very special agent, as maybe some would know it as a unicorn agent, an agent that kind of goes beyond your conventional um, agent.
Yeah.
And I develop a strong relationship with them. So it's a bit of a niche. I put my trust and my entire acquisitions kind of onto them. And it started out with a special agent of mine. Her name's Savannah, and they're in the St. Louis market. And I say unicorn again because people are probably still wondering what that is. She goes far beyond, in the sense of not just submitting contracts for you and presenting offers, but she really goes in and inform yourself on like, if I were to underwrite it, she gives me the estimates of like what the rehab costs would be and help me out with that. She can go as far as going to the county and getting applications filled out for like inspections, or finding information out, like if there's any open permits. And she's also very open-minded too on finding different ways to make money. So she goes beyond just the cash offer, and she's open to creative offers as well. And in fact, that portfolio that I'm going to be buying next week, or closing on next week, is a portfolio, is a creative deal, and that is just one that she brought to me. So it started out there, and essentially the strategy that I do is I fix and flip turnkey rentals. So a property that a investor like you and I can buy, that's already cash flowing, already has a tenant in there, already has a property management in there by the time this investor buys it. So it's a little bit more than a turnkey value package. It's cash flowing on day one, the moment you close, and that's a kind of essentially the strategy that I put into my flipping. And if there's ever a rental that I personally want to buy from this method, I'll buy it. Or if there's any kind of creative opportunities, I'll buy it myself.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So I just want to make sure I understand completely. So you find maybe a house that needs some work.
Yep.
You put the work into it, then you establish a tenant.
Yep.
And then you sell it.
Yes.
Nice. Okay. So
What's
you
great
kind
about
of
that method, let me just add, and what's great about that method is it helps with the cost effectiveness of flipping. Because generally during that 4 to 6 month period of flipping, you have to pay the underlying debt monthly, right?
mm-hmm.
Well, in this case, the construction crew that I'm working with is very efficient, so they can flip a home in like about 2 months' time. So I really only have to pay 2 months worth of debt, and then after that, maybe like a month's time extra, give or take, to get a tenant placed. So 3 months worth of debt, and then after that, the tenant's paying the debt, and I'm basically I don't have to worry about any more months of paying debt, incurring carrying costs, and even maybe make some little bit of cash flow myself that can cover utilities and whatever all the extra costs that can come with a flip.
Okay. So when you're looking at these potential flips, I'm guessing you're underwriting that in there. Say how much could it rent once it's fixed up, see if you will make cash flow, or are you just throwing them in there?
No, I don't. Yeah, I gotta make sure it's going to cash flow on the refinance, and the reason for that, and the reason for that is because, for one, it's going to be cash flowing for the potential buyer, because that's the whole point, right? Why am I going to sell them a property that's going to make them lose money? Also, the idea here is to kind of create nets or fallbacks, if you will, because if I can't sell a flip, I can just keep it myself, and I already know it's going to cash flow anyways. So at least I am kind of creating security for myself that if the flip ends on the sale part, it's still going to be an asset no matter what, and not become a liability.
Gotcha. Okay. That was going to be my next question. If you couldn't sell it, you just go ahead and refinance, I guess.
Yeah, refinancing.
Okay. Awesome. And are you funding these with hard money loans, private money lenders?
Yeah, so I am definitely using private money lenders. I've done a few with one PML in first position. Sorry, I gotta fix my collar. I've done a few where we had like an underlying like institutional lender come in first position, and then we had a PML in second position.
Okay. Awesome. That's interesting. I had never even considered doing that. I always just imagine, okay, if you're going to rent it, you might as well do the BRRRR method and refinance, but that's not bad. You could still end up flipping the property, and who your buyer is, at least, because you're not really worrying about homestead buyers because you've got a tenant in there. So
Yeah.
you're talking to investors.
Yeah, it's a unique niche for sure. And I've done I'm actually I just listed last week my first retail property in St. Louis. And, it's costing us a little bit of money. But at the time, we bought it because we wanted to do a retail just to get an understanding of what that is. And just kind of say, hey, we've done a retail flip. And yeah, there's cons. You have to wait for that homestead buyer to buy it. They're way more emotional about the buying process, and also, yeah, more carrying cost. Whereas with the other approach, the turnkey approach, our buyers are more number based, so we can already present to them something that makes financially sense, and they make their decisions on that. Also, yeah, there's just that. Our flipping part. So less cost on the flip because we're not trying to get this to like a luxury level, like retail level, with fancy
You're
counter,
trying to get it rent ready.
fancy tile, all that stuff. Yeah, it's just rent ready. So we just do enough to get it rent ready. So very minimal work, and that kind of also increases the profit margin.
Interesting. Okay. So this deal you've got closing next week. Do you want to talk about that? You want to tell us about that, or is that a secret? You're going to release a massive video series on it?
I mean, I can definitely share some of it. I just won't, of course, mention who the seller is and things like that.
No, absolutely
Yeah.
not.
But yeah, so this was a client of my agent, Savannah, who was working with her already. She's also an investor, and she was just like a tired landlord, kind of wanted to downsize her portfolio, but wanted to get the most out of her money. And she did had these properties listed, but they were sitting on the market for quite a few months because she was trying to sell it at the highest price that she could sell it for, and just kind of waiting it out. She had tenants in there, so she wasn't. She had time, so she was kind of just waiting for the best offer, the offer that gave her her asking price, but she wasn't really getting it. And it came to a time where there was finally some submissions, but then Savannah kind of came in, and she's a critical thinker. She knows the game, and she figured that, like, okay, and it's funny. I guess maybe St. Louis is a small place, but she knows agents in St. Louis area, and she knows how they play too. And she was like basically advocating for the seller, and she's like, okay, I have a feeling that this offer from this agent is not going to come out at the asking price. They're probably going to, during inspections, going to come up with some excuse and trying to negotiate you down. And so the seller didn't want that. She didn't want to go through all this process just to come out with less than what she is wanting. So Savannah, this is when I was having conversation about creative financing and all that stuff with her. And so she was open to the idea, hey, Andreas can potentially buy this creatively. And we submitted an LOI, giving her asking price, and also with the equity that was going to be owed to her, we added on top 4.75% interest. So now we're preserving the value of her money over the time that we're going to borrow from her. So this eventually was a mortgage wrap. That's the structure of this deal. Wasn't directly subject to, because we're going to keep her name to the loan, to the underlying loan, to not cause due on sales clause. But we're basically tying ourselves to the property through a mortgage wrap, and we're going to now have a third-party servicer pay the underlying mortgage, and then from the rent we pay our portion to the current seller.
Gotcha. So you got a hybrid deal going on. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. We'd be cash flowing like about $1,000 from these 4 properties. It's like about $500,000 worth of properties.
There you go. Wow. That's good, man. Okay. So you got deals closing. Obviously, you're doing business. Sounds like you found a rock star agent. And you got an interesting method there for fix and flip. I'm definitely glad that we connected.
Yeah, you can copy and paste it, man. Like, it's not like I don't got a patent on the method or anything like
Oh,
that.
well, right now, until someone patents it, this is the Andre method.
All right, yeah, we can call it the Andre method. Sure, I like it.
Awesome, man. Well, so what you got? What's in the plans then? What's your goal? We got the fourth quarter coming up for this year. Do you have a fourth quarter goal? Do you have a goal for the next few years? Like, what are you looking for?
Yeah, so September, I think September. Yeah, this month marks the 1 year anniversary since I bought my first flip, and so I've only been doing this for a year. You think I'm doing this for multiple years now? No, it's just been a year, um, and this whole year was like a proof of concept year, getting my feet dirty, making mistakes, um, building a team, learning the whole process really. And we're finally at that place where we can say we did it. we we're not we're not newbies anymore. We have some experience now. We're veterans to an extent, and yeah, we have now that confidence and to take it to the next level. And that's what this next year is going to be about for my partners and I, getting into 2025. We want to scale. Right now we're buying about one property a month right now. It's kind of the rate, and we want to maybe start buying 3 to 4 properties a month. We're thinking we just broke into Ohio, so that's kind of part of the scaling efforts. We're building a team there. We just have one agent in St. Louis, Savannah, so we may branch out to establish a relationship with a new agent and just keep it focused, keep it small, keep it like a small little family of agents that we're going to be working with. And the last thing is we want to break into multifamily. We're not just talking about residential multifamily, which is 2 to 4 units. We're talking about maybe even 10 to 30 units, small multifamily.
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of my idea too. We're trying to get our first few properties. We're actually looking at one right now. I don't want to give too much away because it's like very early in the process, but it seems like it might be a good co-living option.
Nice.
But get it for our first few, and then probably start scaling up, start buying more units. Trying to hit that stack method, trying to exponentially grow your wealth there.
Yeah.
So I get it, man.
Yeah, I'm sure that's why you became a buyer, because eventually what we saw is that's where the wealth building is at. Wholesaling is like a job. You got people to feed, I'm sure, if you have a team or employees. And taxation is just about the same. Like if it was like I don't know, any other business, like a sole proprietor. I don't know. I'm not a tax expert. But I know the taxes are going to be heavier. I know that.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's eventually, yeah, wealth is definitely one of those investment vehicles that really anybody can enter. It's really open to anybody. Like I'm a nurse. What were you prior? What's your occupation?
So I'm still a firefighter.
Firefighter. Okay, like firefighter doing real estate. Like anybody can do real estate. You just gotta, of course, there's some entrepreneurship involved, so you got to learn, you got to do it right. Yes, it's an investment vehicle, so there's risk. You got to learn how to minimize your risk. But again, anybody can do it, and it's one of the greatest investment vehicles that preserves wealth, just from that tax depreciation, and how you can build wealth in 4 different manners. Cash flow, tax depreciation, loan pay down, and appreciation. And that's like a very unique thing about real estate, unlike maybe stocks and other investment vehicles. So yeah, it's a wealth building machine, and this nation allows for it. There's great laws that incentivizes investors, and I don't know why one would not try to take advantage of that.
Most people don't, because they don't understand it.
Yeah, there is that veil for sure that you have to kind of cross.
Yeah.
That I'll admit to that. Yeah. And I
People don't
guess
like. They don't
encouragement to anybody watching who's brand new. It took me like a year of education reading books, listening to podcasts, and then another year of just building concept and actually taking action. I've been in Sub 2 for 2 years now, so probably like 3 years up until now, where I finally have a small little portfolio. I've done some flips, so yeah, about 3 years since I've started. So it's definitely not like a get rich quick gimmick, and it's a dedication. Um, but once you scale and you're on the other side, you really don't look back. That's the reward.
Awesome. I can tell I'm right there at that precipice. I've spent this pretty much the majority of the year building skills, meeting people, and I
Yeah.
spent like 2, maybe even 3 years before that just consuming content.
Yeah.
So
Just
yeah,
liking yourself, indulging yourself.
yeah.
You're a firefighter. I'm a nurse, so we've gone through some educational course. I'm sure during that time, that was your only life, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, did you go to coffee shops, just studying, staring at the computer all day? I mean, I don't know how it was for
Not
you.
so much for firefighting.
Okay.
That's more out on the what we call the pad,
Okay.
exercising, all that stuff. But it was, and then you sit there and just go death by PowerPoint.
Yeah.
But
It's a screw. It's what's the word? It's gosh, I can't think of the word right now, but it definitely takes a lot out of you, right? Just
oh
to go through that. And there's a disciplinary portion to it as well. You know, um, my cohort, there was a good portion of guys, and even us guys, when it came to those heavy tests, man, it made us cry. Even at the final test, it's called the NCLEX for nursing. It's what gives us our license, our official license. And yeah, we came out of that so beaten up. We did not feel like ourselves. We feel like we got like abused by the power of a test, mentally abused, and that translated it to our physical body as well. And yeah, so I mean, if it makes anybody feel better, like my education in real estate was not that excruciating. It didn't
yeah.
make me cry. So
It's
hopefully that provides hope for some people.
yeah. I mean, I'll say it's different, right?
Yeah.
Because like for me, the hardest part of becoming a firefighter was just the bodily and physical exhaustion
Yeah.
going through doing all these drills. We had one drill which kicked my butt. We call it the hose monster. Um,
Whoa.
Basically, they'll take different size hoses,
Yeah.
just lay them all out in this building, however, and then charge them all. And so they're all, nice and thick, filled with water,
Just
and you
spray.
get blindfolded
Oh
and
my God.
you're taken into to the nozzle of one, and they tell you to follow it out. And
Oh
so
my
you
God.
got to follow all through the tangledness, crawl under things, all this stuff, and you got to do it on your bottle of air. And
Oh my gosh.
first
Wow.
time I did fine. Second time I got off my hose and then back on it. Um, but like redid the whole thing twice pretty much.
Yeah.
And I ended up running out of air before I got to the door.
That sounds like a Buds version of for firefighters, like little Hell Week type
Oh
of
yeah,
that.
that's exactly what it was during our Hell Week. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
Yeah. Well, there's nothing like that in real estate.
no, it's not like that. It is different. But that's what I was gonna say is that like for some people, the physical stuff is not that hard. I mean, yes, it's hard during it, but like I look
Yeah.
back and go, I don't want to do it again, but I could.
Yeah.
Um, but then there are some things like for me, sitting down, going through a course, studying. I am not good at studying, so that is rough for me. I
Yeah.
avoid that at all costs. But I
Yeah.
don't know.
And one thing that's great about Pace's community and what he teaches to his students is how do you learn, and how can you best use your current skills and personality to fit the real estate game. You became a buyer, I became a buyer, because that's kind of where we fall in line. But we know that there's many different ways to profit in real estate,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't necessarily have to be the book smart type of guy, like yourself or me. I don't have to be. I don't know what my weaknesses are. I don't know. I'm definitely not the smartest guy, or I don't know. I'm like well rounded, but I'm not like expert on something. So I got my weaknesses for sure. And so point being is there's definitely room for everyone in real estate, and that's what's great. I guess I can again reiterate that, like with nursing, they always say like it takes a certain type of person to be a nurse, and that is very true. I can attest to that. And I'm sure it's the same with firefighting, but with real estate, like I said, there's room for everyone. There really is. You just got to find your niche, you find your way, find how you're gonna maybe be of value in the real estate industry, and and once you figure that out, it provides the path to follow, and it will smooth out the journey. And I guess like in the onset of this podcast, I mentioned that it wasn't a straight shot for me to figure out where I am today, and that's just how it is.
Yeah.
You just have to go through the process.
Yeah, I think a majority of people are that way. When they get in the real estate game, they have an idea of what they want to do, but then because there's so much out there, so many different ways to make money, shiny object syndrome hits. You got people who tell you the best way to start, the fastest way to start. And don't get me wrong, I do think wholesaling is a great way to start. At least getting yourself in the door, meeting people, all that stuff. Um, but a lot of people just end up back where they initially, thought they were going to be. I've only had one person tell me that they started as a buyer and that's all they've ever been. They've never done anything else.
Yeah,
And I was like, geez, okay, look at you.
I know, right? Yeah. Yeah, I wish I was like you.
So,
But yeah, I think just to kind of conclude those points, I learned from a talk from another millionaire. He said the best thing you can do is just talk to people, like literally start a conversation and talk to people. The more you talk to people, the more the world becomes to you. Your your perspective, your paradigm. Sorry, your paradigm. Sorry, I'm saying that right. Your paradigm opens up, and that's where you get to find out what can you do in real estate. Of course, people typically think of working with an agent and buying property, right? That's like common
yeah.
knowledge. I think everybody knows that. But when you talk to title, you talk to, I don't know, you go to like meetups and communities, you end up finding out that there's transaction coordinators, yeah, there's wholesalers, there's connectors, people making money on just connecting people. We've learned about lending. You can lend on EMD and be a private money lender. Um, you can learn how to just be boots on the ground. Like if you're in a certain market and someone's investing virtually, like you can make money on just visiting these properties and taking photos for these people and start out like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, just find, yeah. So when you talk to people, you get to learn that there's so much you can do. And as you talk to people too, you get to find out what their problems are, and you can then learn how maybe you can bring value to them. Because the idea is this to not do real estate by yourself. It truly is a team sport. I have three partners at the start, and now we just added our fourth partner, and he's gonna be like our full-time underwriter. And it takes all of us really to be able to get these deals done and to scale, especially with a W-2 job. So and you got to find your people, find your tribe, and find how you can add value to other people. Or at first, if you want to start, and this is advice for new people specifically, if you're trying to find their way into real estate. And I think that's just a good setup. Again, I'll just say it to make it clear. Find the problems of that other people who already have experience in the game. Find out what the problems are and see if you can add value to it. That's one. Start more conversations to kind of see what opportunities are there out there for you. And then 3, I don't know if I mentioned a third, but I guess just get started, take some action and understand that it's a long-term game, and it's okay to not see success for the first year or so in your real estate journey.
Everybody's path will be different. There's some people, boom, first month they got
Yeah.
a deal.
Yeah. And we're sitting here like, what am I doing wrong? Like,
Yeah.
how makes you
Working my
feel
butt
like a
off.
loser, yeah, you're like, yeah, inside, yeah, you do envy it a little bit. You're like, what? They're all like flashing their checks or something. You're like, but
Yeah.
I think the true success though is the success that you find, because guess what? Their success is not your success. And no matter how much you compare yourself to other people, it will never be yours, right? Because your story is different, your path is different, and your success is going to be unique to you. So just make that happen. And guess what? Someone else out there is going to see your success and they're going to envy it too. You're going to be like, oh, why am I not like Andres? Why am I not like Corey? But it's not, and I'm not saying like, oh, we're here to make each other envious. That's not
It's
the
it's
culture
it's
I
not
want to
quite
bring.
envy.
It's not envy,
The
but it's
goal is we
how
want to
can I
show
be an
enough
example
success
to
to
others?
inspire.
Yeah, to inspire. How can I be an example to another
Yeah.
person? Yeah.
So real quick, he said something about if you're starting out, bringing value, finding someone's issue and then bringing value to them. If you were like me at the beginning, I did not know what value I brought. Since then, I've learned, look at what you consistently do. Whatever you consistently do, let's take an example. Let's say you're consistent about checking Facebook every day. Okay, that might seem like nothing, but if you're checking certain groups, say maybe you're in sub 2, maybe you're not in sub 2, and you're checking the creative group or you're checking wholesale groups or anything like that, you'll start to notice who people like, which people have deals, which people need deals, and then you can insert yourself and say, hey, I know this guy's got a deal, hey, become a connector, right? If you're consistently going to meetups and then you feel like you're not doing anything with that information, well, that's a problem. You should start. Connecting is a great way to start, in my mind. For me, I found my most consistent thing is this podcast, getting to share Andres' story, getting to share other people's story, learn from them. Hopefully, me and Andres will work together soon. Hopefully, an audience member will reach out to Andres and do something with him. Like, that's the value I provide. Now I'm trying to provide more. So y'all just wait for that. But look at what you consistently do. That's what I want to say. And find a way to provide value to someone else through what you consistently do.
Yeah. And I mean, you have podcasts going on, and to me, that's been something I've been wanting to do. And I can't find I guess the space to do that consistently, and you're doing it. And so you provide value in that way, and you're bringing me value. Hopefully I bring you value, and I bring the audience value. So yeah, it's just, there's many ways you can bring value, there truly is. And I think you mentioned it already, that you can maybe connect me with someone. And now that I know you, I can connect you with someone in the future. Like, hey, it's really that simple. And you can start out that way, just connecting people too. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, Andres, I'm struggling to come up with any other questions. So unless you have something else you want to talk about, you good if we move on to the last part of our show?
Yeah, no, that's it. I got nothing else to talk about too.
Awesome. So just a few questions, pretty basic. Same things I ask every show. First, what made you want to be on the podcast today?
I just wanted to meet you, Corey. Heard a lot of good things about you, man. No, but genuinely, yes, that, just meeting someone new from the community. Also, I think doing podcasts are fun. And it's just a way to kind of get your name out there, get to meet more people. So that's what I love about podcasts. It really is just that simply.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. So we talked a little bit beforehand. What is your net worth goal?
I guess it's to be determined. I mean, I definitely want to reach like millionaire status, and the difference here though is not for selfish reasons. My parents are immigrants, and I do want to retire them. They worked really hard their whole lives to provide a great life for me here in the States, and I want to be able to pay them back that way. So whatever that amount is, to be able to fund their retirement, that's one. And then two, I'm single now, but I know one day I'll probably have a loving wife and some beautiful children, and I want to be able to be a good provider for them. So definitely millionaire status. The exact number, I don't know. We'll see. We'll get on a future podcast episode, and you can ask me that same question.
All right. So we've heard a little bit about your story. What would you say are your biggest strengths that you've seen up to this point?
My biggest strengths is definitely being a visionary for my team, kind of keeping people on track, keeping them motivated, keeping them organized, and just being a good socializer. And I think that's kind of hence why I kind of carry the acquisition part of my team and talking with agents, because there's a lot of socialization, kind of asset managing. So I guess that's kind of where my strengths are. I don't know if you were looking for anything particular, but that was kind of
it. Your strengths, buddy. I don't.
It's a list, I guess. I don't know. I guess there's just a few items there that I mentioned.
Okay. All right. Then on the flip side of that, what are your weaknesses?
I guess this is one reason why I didn't get into wholesaling is just having that long talk with sellers and being emotional. It's funny. I'm a nurse, so I have compassion and patience for nursing for patients, because they're in need of that, and I'm happy to provide that for them. But I guess just when it comes to like negotiation, sometimes I get a little nervous. So agents are there and they're great at negotiating. Weaknesses, it's the reason why I'm not an integrator. If I look at an Excel sheet, dude, that goes over my head, man. I don't have patience to sit down on my butt and type away, staring at the same sheet, paper, whatever document for the longest time. Like, I need to go. I'm a go-getter. I need to be up on my feet. So yeah, that's definitely a weakness of mine.
All right. And then almost second last question. What do you need help with that'll make you money in the next 30 days?
I need more PMLs. Yeah, definitely raising capital, but not as fast as we hope. And so I'm looking to connect to more PMLs. Talking about real estate for anyone. Those are definitely people who don't know how to get leads, how to get them under contract, but want to put their money into real estate and benefit from the double-digit returns that you can get. Those are the people I'm trying to find, and or just anyone who wants to get their foot in the door and kind of get their feet wet in that fashion. Because we got more properties in the pipeline and we want to buy more, and so we want to team up with PMLs to kind of get those properties sold or bought.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So guys, if you want to lend on deals, especially in St. Louis, maybe a little bit of Ohio, and
double-digit returns, man.
Yeah, double-digit returns.
And look at it this way.
I mean, come on, he's a nurse. Look at him. He looks great.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, I'm not trying to sell my look, but you think I'm good looking, and then that's the reason why you want to lend with me. Then I guess
there you go.
Myself, but
and ladies, he's single. Okay,
there you go.
That being said, Andres, if people want to lend money on deals with you, where can they get in touch with you?
Yeah, I think the easiest way is just getting a hold of me on Instagram. My handle is my last name Nobili underscore my first name Andres. I'm on there every day, so that's the fastest way. And I'm all about not just having you be a PML or only a PML, but I'm definitely here to provide some education too. Kind of help you walk through the process of real estate as well. All about helping new people, and that's kind of what the game is about, just helping each other out.
Awesome. So guys, if you want to lend on a deal, reach out to Andres on Instagram. It's right there below us, and hope get on some deals with him. Trying to think. You're looking for just PMLs, right? Long term.
Yeah, some long-term PMLs, short-term PMLs, agents. Yeah, I mean, whoever, even wholesalers. We're looking to, to increase our acquisition, our lead development. So really, I guess anything in that ballpark. And I guess also too, if you have a list of turnkey investors that you have that they're looking for you for deals, you don't have the leads, but you have the buyers. And I'm here trying to sell my flips here. Maybe we can connect that way too.
Awesome. Multiple ways to do business with Andres, guys. Again, last time, follow him on Instagram, reach out to him, and do business together.
Yeah.
Well, Andres, I appreciate you, man. That's pretty much the show. That's all I got for you.
Yeah, thanks, Corey, for having me here. It was a pleasure, an honor as well. So yeah, thanks again.
Absolutely, brother. Well, any last words before I close this thing up?
No, but I'm starting to think I need a sign out now. I don't know if you watch Dude Perfect, but they also have like a sign out like head, noggin, like see ya, something like that.
Yeah.
I think that's cool. I don't know, maybe you and I can come up with something. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll figure something out
We'll work
for the
on
next
something.
one.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Awesome, brother. Well, again, I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Let's send you back and close this thing up.
All right. See you, everyone. Thanks for watching.
Oh, I cut him off a little early. I apologize, Andres. Guys, that's our show. Let me know what you thought of Andres. Reach out to him. There are multiple ways to do business with him. And I mean, guys, like, I'm actually intrigued by that flipping method that he has. I'm, not big into flipping, but I might give it a shot now. That being said, guys, if you like this show, like and subscribe. Shouldn't have to tell you, but a lot of people forget to hit that subscribe button. It shows. I'm just kidding. I can't tell if you think about it or not. I'm sure YouTube can, but I can't. That being said, guys, until next week, peace be with you. Love you guys. Be safe. Have a wonderful week.